Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Friars Desk Live, where we talk about spiritual insights, inspirational stories, and innovative ideas. 2 days ago, on January 28th, in the feast of St. Thomas Aquinas, many were caught unaware that a Dominican friar will be elevated to a yet more lofty calling to shepherd a diocese, to be the Bishop of Alaminos, Pangasinan. What does it take for a religious to become a bishop? How will his life change? Or will it? Joining us for this episode is Bishop-elect Napoleon Balili Sipale Jr. OP. Good afternoon po, Bishop-elect or Father June. Kumusta po?
Good afternoon, Father Dexter.
Po. So first of all, we understand that you graduated from UST with a bachelor's degree in sacred theology in 1995 and a licentiate in 1997. How was your experience as a student back then, Father?
To be honest, I'm still finishing the licentiate. I'm supposed to write my thesis this time. Going back, no, I was a student here in 1993 to 1996. And it was our first time to be in a big university because we have our own center of studies. And I was so used to be in a small group, but we're a big group. From our group of, we were less than 10, but we were mixed into a big group of diocesan seminarians. So first, we were adjusting to the different classmates we had, and also our Dominican professors. So many of them were very smart. No? Some of them would remember us in our locative situation. I mean to say, his memory is where we are seated. So if we'll be changing our seats, so he would always mark us absent. But to be honest, really, other than those little things, I found the Dominicans to be very substantial, very orthodox, and very faithful to the teachings of the church.
Since we are talking about Father, can I call you Father or Bishop-elect?
I would prefer Father, please, Father.
Okay, Father. So we are talking about being you as a student po. Were you an ordinary student or kayo po ba yung tahimik na student or maingay or magulo? Tell us about your sa student experience. Kahit po hindi po dito sa UST.
Generally talaga, I was a silent student in the class. No? I only ask questions if I don't really understand. But personally, I love study. That brought me to the order. And I even remember when I was a student in the college, I was in Davao. I was taking medical technology. I was looking for a prayer for study, and I saw a prayer of study, and I copied it, and I put it on my table before I studied. I always prayed that one. It just dawned on me when I entered the order, it was a prayer of St. Thomas Aquinas.
Wow.
And that was my first encounter with Dominicans, the prayer of St. Thomas Aquinas. And that helped me a lot, no? It says that you have, before you go to the sea, you pass through the stream, no? And we study small things and get into the bigger things. That's in terms of prayer, but study for me is not only in terms of passing the grade. I really would like to understand and how to apply this in my life. That was always my goal. If I study this, how would I apply this in my real life? That was always my goal. But of course, like any students, I passed to that stage that I only studied because I would like to pass. Maybe that was in the early years. But when I entered UST, I always asked myself, how would this study of mine would help me in terms of my ministry in the future? Always my goal. So I never sleep in class. Though I felt so sleepy with some professors, to be honest, because, you know, theology is really from top, no? And you have to accept that one. Even my eyes were already red. And there was this classmate of mine always say, "Oh, your eyes already red, no? They're already sleeping." But me, I keep my eyes open to listen to the lecture as much as possible.
So hindi naman pala kakaiba, no, na natutulog din tayo sa klase, minsan nakakaboboard din, pero you were really an ordinary student back then, Father.
Mostly, yeah. I'm an ordinary student, but I always listen. No? There are so many insights I remembered when I was a student that they became real, no, and relevant and important. For example, no, a canon lawyer was teaching us canon law, who said, if you cannot stay for 1 hour in the Blessed Sacrament, you cannot persevere as a priest.
Wow.
I didn't understand
And
that when I was a
did.
student. No? When I became priest, it's true.
Wow. Speaking of being a priest, maybe we go first. Why the Dominican order, Father? When you entered and in the order, you chose to be a Dominican. Can you tell us more about that? vocation that you have?
I don't know if this would put the Dominican in a bad light, but I never choose really the Dominicans. It so happened that when I realized I had a call, I wasn't allowed to enter the seminary. Back then, I didn't understand the distinction of the religious and the diocesan. I wanted to enter the seminary, and maybe my parents saw that they need my help, because we're not rich, we're very poor. So I have to help the family. That's one thing. And maybe my mother would like me to have my family of my own. So she never allowed me to enter rather. So because being an obedient son, I said, okay, I'll enroll in college. I wanted really to become a doctor before.
Oh, doctor.
And before I realized the call. So I took up BS Medical Technology. It so happened it was San Pedro College in Davao City. And it was run by, I didn't know that it was run by the Dominican Sisters. So there was one subject there in Theology 1 that the teacher happened to be a Dominican sister. And that Dominican sister had her kind of transition in life. No? She kind of fed up only in the hospital, so she decided to teach. So it happened to be our class. And when she was teaching us, she would give us assignments. And the assignment that we had, we could not find the books in the library. And we realized it was in her library, in the hospital. So I went there, and she discovered I had a plan to enter. And she said, why not the Dominicans? Because at that time, I was already set to enter the OMI. I had my search in, and the vocation director, Goni Bungao, told me, yeah, you finish your second year and you enter. So I was already looking forward to be in second year and enter. And when she learned I was about to enter the OMI, she told me, why not the Dominicans? Oh, I don't like the friars, I told her. Bakit naman?
Why?
Kasi yun ang nabasa ko sa El Pili sa Canoli.
Yeah.
Kilala ko yung mga characters ng mga friars.
Mga praile.
I want to be part of them. Sabi iba naman yung friars ngayon. They're Filipinos. Fast forward, pagkatapos ng 1 year namin sa college, first year ako noon, dumating yung mga Dominican brothers. At that time, nandun si Brother Bobby Pinto, Dennis Makiraya, I think, Danny Limana. So sinabi ng madre na may mga brothers na dumating. Pero after 1 year, I decided to transfer talaga. What's I'm going to do with this subject if I have to enter the seminary? So I have to better prepare myself. So pupunta na sana ako Ateneo to enroll philosophy.
Wow.
So sabi ng madre, baka maging Jesuit ito.
Jesuit, yes.
Kaya kinukuha ko yung record sa school, di ko pala alam na nag-aantay siya dun sa gate. So when I was about to leave, nalaman niya na I was leaving for another university. Sabi niya, may mga Dominicans dito, Dominican ka na, talagang galing niya mag-persuade eh. Sabi ko, sister, I don't want to be part of the prior, di ba? Parang mga oppressors yan sila, no? Ganun kasama ng tingin ko sa Dominican, or the friars. Hindi, iba naman ng friars ngayon. You meet the brothers, sabi niya, you meet the brothers. The next day, I met Brother Bobby Pinto. Tapos, nag-uusap kami, sabi niya, June, when you meet one Dominican, you meet one.
Yeah.
Sabi niya. And then explain niya yung way of life. It just dawned on me na hindi ko alam palang Dominicans. And I don't know what really happened eh. He said, you try, you see. And sabi ko, okay, I'll try. So when I met sister, I already told her na I'll try it for a year. I entered the pre-novitiate and I discovered the life. It just dawned on me, this is the life I'm looking for. No? My community, my study, and life of prayer is very regular. And of course, mahihayin talaga ako, pero I love to teach. I love to preach. Kaya I fell in love. No?
Those were the characteristics that you fell in love with the Dominicans. That's why you persevered to the end.
Actually, malakas talaga yung apostolate ng Dominican. Especially, of course, study was very near to me that time.
Yeah. So you were ordained as a priest. When was that, Father?
In 1997.
1987.
97.
Yes, 97. And after being ordained, you held various positions in the Dominican province of the Philippines. And first, what was the first assignment that you were given, Father?
I was given an assignment even before I was ordained. I was asked to be assistant in the student take. That's our post-novitiate, no? Where brothers already profess, studying philosophy and theology.
Assistant master of students, then after which
Yeah,
becoming,
after 4 years, I went to Manawag.
to Manawag.
2001, 2006.
Yes,
you were
Father.
there, no?
Yes, Father.
Nag-abot tayo
Yes,
doon.
yes,
I
Father.
remember that
So
time.
what was your experience then when you were given your first assignment during the first years of your ordination?
I think it was a surprise because I never see myself in formation. That's a personal confession. I really wanted to go for missionary work.
Missionary.
And I told even the provincial before I was assigned, where would you like to go? Because it was a kind of canonical visit. And I said, I would like to go for mission. Then when I was given to work in the formation, I told myself, maybe I mispronounced the word, no? Formation to
Mission.
But it was heard that it's not formation, but formation. No.
Formation for mission.
No, I think when they had a chapter in 1996, they were looking for 2 assistants for the master student. That time it was Father Rico Gonzalez. And they found one, Father Seto. And the second one, as assistant, they were suggesting names. And it's very synodal. Even the word was not used. No? The provincial at the time, Father Quirico Pedregosa, said, okay, si Father Ganire, tahimik yung mga brothers. Si Father na Ganire, wala, tahimik din. How about si brother na ganito, katabi ko? Nagtawanan yung mga brothers.
Bakit po?
Parang di na nakikita sa formation siguro. Ano kay playful eh.
Yeah.
Pagdating sa akin, nakita ko yung Father Doy, si June. Tapos, ano naman, nag-affirm naman yung brothers. So, kinabahan talaga ako, personally. Kinabahan ako kasi parang yung biro na yun, parang totohanin ng provincial. Sabi niya, hindi ka naman i-assign, understudy ka lang naman. At that time, I wasn't even ordained deacon. So I thought it was understudy. So after that, I can
So
go
what
for
what
mission.
are you what are the things that you saw and value during those years in the assignment that you were in your formation?
Siguro, ang nakita kong doon, very important was to journey, no, accompany the brothers. Lalo na pag nagde-decide sila. Kasi alam nyo, yung generation talaga pala nag-change,
Yes.
Pagpasok kasi, sigurado na ako. Ito na eh. Pero yung generation na naabutan ko doon, hindi pa sigurado. Parang, ito ba? O, marami pang what if I fall in love here? What if mawalan ako ng bukasyon, gana? What if? Ang daming what if.
Maraming what if.
And iba talaga. Pero some of them who had those questions and doubts, eventually talaga when they made the decision, they push on. They really push through na wala ng doubts, no? Yung maturity ng brothers, makikita mo, it really gave me joy. No? You accompany them and assure them of God's love. And when you are voted by the community to continue, you have the vocation.
You were able to see the development, on the spiritual side and religious life of brothers, no, Father. But I will not ask you kung ano yung nangyari sa akin when you were the formator. Ayoko na.
Oo, baka malaman nila kung ano pinag-usapan natin.
Okay na yun. So, after which, na-pursue nyo naman po after being novice master, then you were assigned as a missionary in Sri Lanka, Father?
Yes.
So, what happened then? So, from being a missionary now, na-fulfill na po yung gusto nyo po for a missionary.
Ito lang ang katawa eh. Sabi ko, I like to go for mission work. So I was assigned in the house as treasurer. Nawala yung formator. Back to formation naman ako. So I have to accompany again the only one, student brother that time.
But still,
That
formation.
one student brother, I thank the Lord. Na maybe it's really important to accompany the brothers in formation. Yung talagang kasama-samahan talaga. Yung parang kumbaga sa marriage, in sickness or in health, in poverty, in plenty. Talaga kahit pare na nga siya, sinamahan ko siya nung na aksidente yung parents niya.
This is a Sri Lankan brother.
Oo, silang. Itago sa pangalang Father Manoj.
So, you accompanied him throughout.
I mean, doon ka talaga, doon ka magpapasalamat sa Diyos. No? You see how the person matures in the process of formation. Even after the formation.
Pero anong difference, Father, when you were a formator here in the Philippines and a formator in Sri Lanka? Was there any difference?
Siguro yung environment. No? Dito kasi, maganda sa Pilipinas, ang dami natin. No? Nakikita niya yung Dominican life. Pero pag doon, ang basis ng Dominican life, yung nakausap niya ako. Kaya marami siyang tanong. Konti din yung community. And that's basically the environment. Pero I believe the process of seeing the person where he is from. Nagsisimula talaga lagi doon, no? Begin where the person is. Hindi mo pwedeng impose, no? But there are also expected goals sa formation na kailangan ma-achieve ninyo, na hindi mo pwedeng i-pass track pag hindi pa siya ready, pero you have to really let them know na, or let him know na ganito yung stage.
How many years were you in Sri Lanka, Father?
Sandali lang ako doon, mga 9 years.
9 years lang. Pero how did you adjust to the change or to the environment? Pero 9 years din po. Pero how did you adjust to the change?
Alam nyo, na-discover ko, malaking bagay pala yung training mo sa bahay, sa formation. Sa bahay kasi, ang training namin doon, example sa food, no? Eat what is served. Pag nag-serve yan ng sabaw na gulay, breakfast, lunch, dinner, pili ka, iinom ka, kakain ka ng gulay at sabaw, or 1-hour sermon. So, kumain kami nun. Kaya yung tatay ko, galing ako sa seminary sa mission, nagtataka, ba't kumakain ka ng gulay? Dati, 1 oras yung sermon ko sa'yo. Pero alam nyo, because of that attitude, no, I was able to eat their food. Ang anghang talaga, kung 1 to 7, mukhang 7 ata yun, ang anghang.
Nasanay na kayo doon, Father, sa food.
Siyempre, what is served, you eat. And that's one, of course. Of course, ako yung nag-adjust kasi ako yung foreigner. Ako yung bago doon. I didn't impose myself. Tsaka maraming bagay na yung basically siguro yung basic goodness, yung common sense. Common sense, kailangan nyo doon.
Pero 9 years din po yun. Ano yung po yung natutunan nyo naman po doon for those 9 years of experience in Sri Lanka?
I saw similarities. Value of family. Sana malakas yun. Education. Ang faith na napakalalim, unlike us, no? Doon kasi, sa 20 million, 1 million lang sila.
Minority talaga.
The rest are Buddhists, Muslim, Hindus. Ito 1 million. Kaya pag nakita mo talagang Catholic family, sa bahay pa lang, pagpasok mo, may altar na. Sa Pilipino ngayon, pagpasok sa bahay, yung dating altar, TV na. No?
Nawala
Sana
na.
altar talaga. Tapos bago umalis, magdadasal yan. Pagbalik, magdadasal. Very prayerful. Very contemplative yung atmosphere doon. Kaya talagang magiging contemplative ka talaga.
Nakita niyo po yung importance, yung significance po ng Catholic faith po dun sa yung environment na hindi Catholic po. So after missionary work in Sri Lanka, what's the next assignment that you were given?
I was elected at Manawag rather.
As a prior now. Being a missionary, now being a prior of a convent, how do you adjust now? Because you were accompanying one formandi in Sri Lanka, in different environment. Bumalik po kayo dito sa Pilipinas, heading now a priory in Manawag, which has many devotees of Manawag. Paano naman po yung adjustment nyo naman po doon, experiences nyo po?
Iba kasi yung sumusunod. That's kasi lang I started to be the member of the community. Then may stint doon na from 2009 2015 twice in term of office. I was the superior of the house. So pagdating sa authority, I think I understand na you had really to be the symbol of unity for the community. Though I'm not information work, you have to accompany the brothers where they are. Ang difference siguro, malaki yung community sa Manawag. Malaki. Tapos, doon sa Sri Lanka, kami talagang hinahawakan namin sa brothers. Dito sa Manawag, maliban sa meron kang brothers sa community, meron kang 100 plus employees or workers. Tapos maraming pilgrims. At that time, ang daming kaso. Kinakasuhan ako, hindi ko alam. Kasi may mga kaso over, no? Sa school, sa lupa na in-squat doon sa labas. I realized talaga pala, basic goodness kailangan. Anyway, laki adjustment ko in terms of detail siguro. For basic thing I was taught before, whatever concerns everyone has to be consulted. From the community, from even those mga nagtitinda sa gilid ng gate ng Manawag, kinonsult ko lahat yun. Oo. Tapos yung nagpasara ng aming POS ang tawag, point of sales. Pumunta ako ng kinonsult ko yung BIR sa Kalasyaw.
Lahat pala.
O pati yung mga nag-squat sa amin, kinausap ko. Pero alam mo yung nag-JDR, bago kasuhan mo yung tao, irarapo sa court. Andun ako, nakipag-usap ko sa nagkaso sa akin.
Very rich experience pala sa Manawag. It's actually not just that you are leading a group of friars.
Tingin ko talaga, may blessing din talaga sa office siguro. Kasi the right person, the right insight, no, the right help. Everything went to their proper place afterwards.
So after being a prior of a convent in Manaoag, no, a priory at that, now you became the prior provincial. Tama po ba? After being prior?
Oh, yes.
Then
11 months ako dun sa Manawag.
11 months. Oh. Then you became the prior provincial of the Dominican province of the Philippines. No? Ito naman po, kami naman po yung nililid nyo. Oh, everybody in Filipino Dominicans here in the Philippines, no, you were able to lead us, no. But what's the feeling then, no, when you were elected now as the head of the Dominicans here in the Philippines?
First, I was afraid. I was overwhelmed by fear, no, and I felt so unworthy. But I was reminded that I have obeyed, no. I have made the vow of obedience, no, the counsel that we profess. So I obey the brothers. That's one, and I understand it's a call from God. Inadequate as I was, I said yes. No? I know I did my best out of my conscience with the support of the council, and I know yung sinasabi lagi ni Father Rico sa akin damn if you do, damn if you don't. No? So, at that time, yun ang conscience ko. So, I did what I have to do. But, looking back, I realized, may mga ano din ako, may mali din ako.
But yung memorable po or greatest na gusto nyong maalala being the prior provincial of the Dominican province of the Philippines po?
Parang ano yun, pang Miss Universe na tanong yun.
Ano yung parang isang instance na pag sinabi natin you were the prior provincial, yung something that comes out of your mind, on top of your head?
Honestly, I thought of that after my term. And the only one I really thank the Lord for is I have come to know the brothers personally. I mean, I have met most of the brothers in the province, no? From those working in the Philippines, in Indonesia, in Sri Lanka, and even when I'm called to go to Rome, no, our brothers studying there, or our headquarters, I've come to know the brothers.
In the different assignments that you were able to appoint them, no po, parang nakita nyo po lahat on a bigger scale, kumbaga.
One thing I really thank the Lord. I didn't take things personally. No, whether it was affirmation or criticism, I didn't really take it personally. I didn't know how come it was like that, but it was a grace, no, that I understand. I was doing a task, no, that I have to obey the brothers, and I have come to know them. What I'm trying to say, when I have come to know them, I have seen how generous they are. And despite all the difficulties they're going through, whenever I ask brother, Father, can you go to Sri Lanka? Yes, Father. I have seen brothers like that. Or I have seen brothers of struggles, no, because they cannot let go maybe of a place that they have been used to. So when I was about to transfer some old people, I realized it's very difficult for them to adjust, no, to a new place.
Intricacies po ng different characteristics din po.
So you really have to, I don't know, it takes a kind of time to sit down before the Lord and listen to the brothers and bring it to prayer with the Lord. And after consulting them and consulting the council, there's a part that you have to make decision. That I always tried my best to pray before I make the decisions.
And it's very
I have
important.
come to know really the brothers. I told myself, maybe the Lord is telling me through the brothers. No? So I really listen intently. No?
Just like Jesus, now when he was about to make a big decision, he will pray. After being the prior provincial, then you became the vice rector of the Central Seminary.
Yes.
Now, you're now here in UST, and you're now leading the diocesan seminarians now. What are your experiences then, Father?
The word diocesan is very important. I've been moving all these years, no? From the time I entered in 1988 to 2021, I'm always going with our Dominicans, no? But this time I saw a different way of accompanying brothers. The diocesan, no? Here we really would say we have to discover the elements of Jesus Christ, no, and integrate it in our life, following Christ as chaste, poor, and obedient. Here, the Central Seminary, the direction is to accompany the brothers, to be formed as good shepherd after the heart of the good shepherd.
But what's the key differences between leading a Dominican or religious and leading a diocesan? Yung key difference po nila. In your experience po, personal experience, or was there none?
Basically, the formation of brothers discerning, that's I think got common ground. No? They're discerning if they are called or not. In our part, we have to discern that also in terms of the 4 areas of spiritual life, human formation, intellectual formation, and pastoral formation. So I think it's more of the direction of the goal. They're being formed as shepherd after the heart of the good shepherd. In our case, to be formed as preachers.
Okay. Now you are now appointed were appointed as a bishop-elect. How do you plan to bring your experiences, itong mga experiences, past experiences natin, and background from the Dominican order to the episcopacy? Yung characteristics, the virtues of the Dominican order, how do you plan to bring that to the episcopacy?
Do we have time, Father Dex? Mahabuti tayo umaga. Ang dami. Ang tagal, no?
Kanti lang po, on top of your head.
Personally, may mga elements na very synodal for me. For example, in our case, we don't decide if something is very crucial for everyone. Everyone has to be consulted. I think that's very important. We have to listen to those concerned. Second, we have to allow everyone to express, because there are tendencies that sometimes those stronger voices will always speak up, and it will cover everyone. Maybe even the least person there, or maybe, shall we say, not very intelligent. You have to listen, because there's no one who has a monopoly of the truth. That's one. We have some elements in our tradition, I believe, that are very important in following Christ. The connection of the life, the witnessing, and the preaching. What they say now in the world, walk the talk. In the order, it's very strong with Dominic. He was a preacher by word and example. Sometimes people are very sharp. When we say something, they don't see that we are doing it, they don't believe us. I think that's very strong with the Dominican preaching. I hope I can bring that as a bishop. In terms of our fraternal life, it's very strong. I know that's one I really cried when I learned, because I'm living Dominican community life. But I understand the diocesan life has a very strong community life. So I hope we can band together, getting to know, spend time together, this confidence building. Because we come together in prayer. You know what really happens when we pray? We are in touch with God, the sacred, as I always say. When we are in touch with God, we're in touch with one another. That's very important, to be always in touch with God, in order to be always in touch with one another, and vice versa. Kaya nga, abutin tayo umaga pa ni Dexter.
Only one last one.
Siguro, ang nakikita ko talagang very important sa ating Dominican, maliban dun sa sinabi ko na, that you consult, and when everyone is affected, okay, you listen, and allow everyone to speak. And after all this consultation, we cannot end with consultation. After one has listened to, some authorities are given to our superior to decide. And I believe that is a tall order for me, that we have to decide for the common good.
Just one. I'm just curious, Father. What was your reaction when you heard that you were the one appointed to be a bishop?
Puro nakakaya, no?
Just your reaction.
Hindi talaga, para ako nabigla talaga. I mean, mixed emotion, no? I had trepidations. I was also overwhelmed by joy, with the trust. And I heard the word, it's a grace, no? And even our master of the order said, it's a grace. So personally, even I was overwhelmed with fear, but the trust and the joy that is given, or the trust and joy that were given, were so much, no? And I said yes. And I didn't realize what were the consequences. So I cried later.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave my Dominican community life. I'm going to, maybe I have to change my habit. Although I can wear it from time to time, no?
Yeah.
I can't really see myself at first.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I have to allow things to sink in.
The dynamics of being a religious and part of the hierarchy. Now, how do you prepare, Father, yourself for the significant responsibilities that come with this role? From the time of your appointment until the time that you will be consecrated as a bishop?
For now, I believe the preparation is more on the terms of the consecration. So I'm very happy that I'm supported by our Metropolitan Bishop in that part, in that part, no, of the Philippines. I'm accompanied by, first, of course, before our Metropolitan Bishop, I was accompanied by the Nuncio, and I was guided properly, and the Metropolitan Bishop, Bishop Sok Villegas, and the administrator of the Diocese of Baliminos, Fidelis Layog. So in terms of preparation, yes, the preparing the details, I have to be honest, I'm very thankful that as I'm learning the rope, no, we have bishops who are experienced to guide me. On the one side, I really have to go for a retreat.
Yeah, so those are the preparation. Can you share with us the things that you will always remember as a Dominican, as a priest, Father? Ano yung mga naalala natin na magiging baon-baon natin?
Personally, whenever I have difficulties, I only have one kind of expression to myself. No, my love is crucified. I entered this life because I love the Lord, and I decided to serve the Lord until my last breath. So whether it's Dominican life or the diocesan life, where the Lord would like me to serve and even spend my whole life there, I'll bring that, no, until the end. So I learned that from the order, and the order's love and support. I'll bring that when I go there.
It's always a giving up, no? It's always a giving up. It's sharing your life to these people that God has entrusted to you, Father, no? Especially when you become the Bishop of Alaminos, Father. Many are praying for your success, Father. And
please, Father.
Yes.
From you, Father, please, and those who are watching now, please pray for this for this person before you. I really need all the prayers, but that means a lot for me.
Yes, many are praying for you, Father. And we Dominicans and Thomasians alike, mga listeners natin, would like to know how we can help you in any way. Ano po yung mga pwede naming magawa? First, prayers. How do we help you in any way?
I cannot say for now, Father, but when I'm there, after I listen, and if ever the resources in terms of personal, in terms of moral support, whatever area of support, I will bring it with you, Father. And can I come back here and ask
Oh,
for
yes, of course.
appeal? No, kidding aside. No, I'm trying to say, Father, is prayer now is more important for you, Father.
All right.
Okay.
Do we have an online? Okay, so before I ask you for your last message, Father, I'll ask you for a fast talk, Father. Fast talk. Just
Okay.
choose, or you can say both, or you can
Ito
say
ba yung
nothing.
pipili ka kung ano?
Oh,
Yung work,
pipili
hindi
ka lang.
A and B, no?
Oh yes, pipili ka lang.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Singing or dancing?
Dancing.
Reader or writer?
Both.
Okay. Sun or rain?
Sun.
Wine or beer?
I don't drink either. Beer. Okay.
Okay. Action or romance?
Action.
Dog or cat?
Dog.
Okay. Elton John or John Lennon?
John Lennon.
Okay. Black or white?
White.
Philosophy or theology? Or canon law?
Consecrated life.
Okay. Profession or election?
Profession.
Priory or missionary?
Missionary.
The most memorable thing that you have done so far?
Memorable, Father. Tagal mag-isip pa. Sigo, Father, missionary in Sri Lanka.
Okay. One thing that you've always wanted to do?
Just be with the Lord, Father.
Okay. And your inspiration, who or what?
To be honest, Saint Augustine.
Okay. And what is your prayer right now, Father?
Lord, have mercy.
Right? And the message, Father, you want to impart to our viewers and listeners. You can.
I understand many are here as students,
Yes,
no?
of course.
So sometimes in life there are things that we plan, but the Lord has always His plan. So our desire is to see the hand of the Lord leading us, and never let go of the hand of the Lord. And you will see His plan unfolded for us. And our desire is always to say yes to the Lord. So I hope the students listening here has found that plan of the Lord in their lives.
As Dominicans and Thomasians, we are forever thankful to God for the blessing of our brother and Father Jun Sipalay OP, with the gift of episcopacy. Thank you, Father, for
Thank you,
being
Father
with
Dex.
us.
Thank you, Father Dex.
Okay. And we pray that God may bestow His grace upon him as he navigates through the many challenges of leading the flock entrusted to his care. May He grant him the strength to make the right decisions, a spirit of understanding and love for His people. Thank you, and thank you everyone for watching with us. Laudare, benedicere, predicare. Let us all praise, bless, and preach the Word of God. Have a good day, everyone, and God bless us all. This is Friar's Desk Live.